Hey guys, welcome to our first YouTube video. We're going to start this off with Unit 4, Cell Transport, and we're going to specifically focus on the cell membrane today. As you are watching this video, you are going to take notes over what you feel is important. Whether that's written or said verbally by me, you're going to write or draw whatever you feel is necessary. You need to pause and rewind as you need, and of course the notes are going to be checked in the beginning of class on the next day. You'll be able to use these notes on the entrance quiz, so make sure you take good notes because it might get you the A you desire. Let's go ahead and start. So this right here is an overall picture of what the cell membrane looks like, and we're going to go into a lot of detail about what all this stuff is. So let's first start off talking about what is a cell membrane. Well, the cell membrane is not that little thin border that we just labeled and just thought it was nothing. No, if we look right here at the zoomed in picture, we see it's actually composed of some material. And what that material does is it chooses what can enter and leave the cell. Because it chooses what it wants in and out, we call this semi-permeable. Now, semi-permeable meaning it gets to choose. So, I like to think about like dating. The cell membrane isn't permeable. It's not letting everything in. Like, it ain't like some of y'all. They're like, oh, you can be my man. You can be my man too. Or fellas, like, oh, you and your friend can be my girl. Like, no, it's not permeable. But it's also not impermeable, meaning it's not swerving everything that's trying to come its way. It is semi-permeable, meaning it lets some things in and out. If we look right here at this diagram, we notice that the larger molecules cannot pass through, but it's allowing these smaller things to come and go. Semi-permeable. So why does the cell membrane choose what enters and leaves? Well, the whole purpose is to reach homeostasis or maintain it. Another word for homeostasis is dynamic equilibrium. What word do you hear in equilibrium? That's right. Equal. You're so smart. So a more scientific definition of homeostasis is the ability of the body or cell to seek and maintain a balanced or stable state of equilibrium when dealing with external changes. So when I think about homeostasis, I think about Goldilocks, right? Ignore the fact that she looked like she was playing Fortnite all night. But when she went into the cabin, she tried 3 different porridge. One was way too hot, one was way too cold, but the last one was just right. Our cells want to be like the last one. It wants to be balanced and it's zen and equal how it is. So the whole purpose of letting things in and out, why it's semi-permeable, is so that the cell can be at a state where everything is balanced. So the cell membrane actually has 3 different names. You have cell membrane, plasma membrane, and fluid mosaic model. We're going to go more into where this fluid mosaic model one comes from because you've heard of the first 2. So, the cell membrane is composed of 4 different parts. You have the phospholipid bilayer, the carbohydrates, cholesterol, and transport proteins. If I was you, I would write all 4 of these down because they're very important. Alright, so I want you to actually be able to think about the words and be able to see the structure of them. So the first one we're going to look at is our phospholipids. If you ask your younger sibling to draw a person and they drew like a head and legs and they ain't even put no arms or nothing on there, that's what a phospholipid looks like. And there's obviously 2 sides to it, and we see that the tails or the legs, right, are facing each other. You also have the proteins. They kind of look like, I don't know, Mike and Ike's or jelly beans. Cholesterol is these little golden looking structures that are in between the phospholipids. They're not gold in real life, but yeah. And then you have the carbohydrates, which are these hexagon structures that are sitting on top of the phospholipid bilayer. So we're actually going to go into our 4 functions of these in the next couple of slides. Okay. So, the phospholipid bilayer. It is basically 2 layers of the phospholipids. And the word bi, of course, means 2. So what I want you to really take from this is that the tails are facing each other. And the heads are on the outside. Why is that? The reason behind that is the head of the phosphate is polar. And when we say polar, another word for that is hydrophilic, meaning it's water loving. I like to think about J. Cole when he was like, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real, you're the only father that I ever knew. No. I ain't gonna say the rest because it's inappropriate. But Uncle Phil, everybody loves Phil, and Phil loves water. So when you think hydrophilic, it loves water. And of course, because it loves water, we call it polar. And then the tails are nonpolar, so they're hydrophobic. The word phobic means, that's right, fear. So the tails are water fearing. So if you fear something, you want to stay away from it as much as possible. So when we look right here at this picture of the plasma membrane, the tails are facing each other. Why? Because there is water on both sides of the cell membrane. Water on the outside, water on the inside. So, of course, because it's afraid of it, it's not going to want to touch it. It's almost like taking two magnets and trying to put them together. Are they going to come together? No, because they repel each other. The tails repel water. That's why the layer faces each other. So the third part we're going to talk about are transport proteins. The function of these is to move substances through the plasma membrane that can't pass on their own. Think about like a younger sibling. They want to cross the street, but they can't do it by themselves. So they usually ask you or somebody else to help them cross it. It's the same here. There are some molecules that are too large to pass through the membrane on their own. So instead, they use a protein to help them get to the other side. There are two types. You have carrier and channel. We're going to go more into what these types are and what they do, but for right now, I just want you to know there are different types of proteins, channel and carrier. All right, so now we have our carbohydrates, or our cousin carb. So carb helps to identify chemical signals or other cells that are outside the cell. Basically, carbohydrates help with cell-to-cell recognition. So think about your cousin, we're going to call them cousin carb, right? They see you, and they're like, hey, what up, cuz? And you like, what up, though? They see you, they recognize you, and it's like one cell to another. That's your cousin. It's the same here. Here's one cell and here's another. This carbohydrate at the top lets the other cell know, hey, I'm the cell that you want to interact with. What up, cuz? To just make it stamp a little bit more, let's say this is Miss Martinez. And I see your daddy. And I want to be, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Got him. Okay, move. All right, so the last part we're going to talk about is cholesterol. The purpose of cholesterol is to keep the fluidity or the stability of the plasma membrane. Because remember, it's a fluid mosaic model, so it's actually moving. And because it's fluid, we don't want it to be stiff like weave, you know what I'm saying? We want it to actually be fluid. So that's what cholesterol does. It doesn't let it be too wavy or too stiff. It helps it to be just right. And if we notice, cholesterol is located in between the phospholipid bilayer. So if it's by the tails, and the tails are nonpolar, that also makes cholesterol what? Nonpolar. Awesome. So just please keep that in mind. Cholesterol is nonpolar too. Are there any preguntas? No? Awesome. Then I want you to go ahead right now, raise a silent hand. Your teacher's going to come over, look at your notes, initial it, and then hand you the independent practice for you to begin to apply everything you learned. Awesome job, guys, and I will see you soon at the next video.